Welcome back, everybody, to another Khan Academy tutorial. Today we're going to be doing inequality from graph, which is kind of a weird title, but whatever. Let's continue. We have choose the inequality that represents the following graph. What we got to understand about inequalities is that they represent a range of values. This first option, I'm just going over as an example, says x is less than -1. So if we're thinking about the numbers that satisfy that statement, the numbers that are less than -1 are -2, -3, -10, -50, -1,000. Okay, there's a ton of different numbers, an infinite number of numbers that satisfy that statement. One that does not satisfy that statement is -1. That's because this is a less than symbol and not a less than or equal to. So it cannot be equal to -1, but it can be less than -1. So the best way to solve these problems or represent the solutions, instead of writing out all this mumbo jumbo, is just to graph it. So what we're looking at here is we're looking at first an open dot on -1, and then we're looking at an arrow pointing to the left. Now, as we point to the left, we're going towards -infinity. So the more we go to the left, the closer we get to -infinity, the bigger negative numbers. If we go to the right, on the contrary, we're headed towards positive infinity. The more the numbers get positive and the bigger the numbers get positively. Now, something to keep in mind, if you're in an advanced topics class, instead of an open dot, you're going to see parentheses going this way, so it'll look like that. And instead of seeing a closed dot, for those problems that have like a closed dot, you'll see a bracket. That's just some nuance, some particular. I just wanted my students to be aware of that. So let's take a second look. We have an open dot. That means we can exclude any answer that has a less than or equal to sign or greater than or equal to sign. So look at B, we're getting rid of B, and we're getting rid of D because this open dot means it cannot include 1. -1 is not part of the solution. Now, which way are we going? Well, we're going to the left. We're headed towards -infinity. So we're looking at the values that are less than 1. Which of these statements say x has to be less than 1? You can't just base it on the positioning. I have a lot of students that say, oh, I have -1 on the left, I know it's this one. Oh, I have -1 on the right, it's this one. Because it's so easy to just switch these and have it mean the same thing. So I'm writing the same thing twice. And you can see it can be very confusing because they just flipped inequality and these are the same and these are the same. So you have to be very careful. There's no general rule for these, but so you have to look at each situation, analyze what's happening. You can see here, it's all the values that are less than -1, as we said, -1, sorry. Less than -1, so our option is A. We're going to choose A as our answer. X has to be less than -1, can't include it. All right, now that you have the idea, we can go a little bit faster. We see here we have a closed dot. Okay, again, this would be bracket for any advanced topic college student. We have a closed dot. That means we're including, okay, that's less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. So we're getting rid of these options because they exclude -4. Now we're talking about the values that are bigger than -4. So x needs to be greater than -4, headed towards positive infinity. So greater than -4, that is this one. X is greater than -4. We're talking about all the values bigger than -4. So if you want, you can always test a value. Try 0 or 5. Does that make a true statement in this inequality? It does, so we know D is our correct answer. Next question. -5, we have an open dot, so we're going to exclude these ones because they include -5, and we're talking about all the values bigger than -5, so x needs to be greater than -5, and that is option G. I'm sorry, that's not a G, that's a C. So option C, x is greater than -5, not equal to. Next question, final one, cruising right on through. It's equal to it because it's a closed dot. We'd be using a bracket in college courses. So it's not this one, it's not this one. It's got to be bigger. Okay, so we're talking about to the right, x needs to be bigger than those values. So it is option D, x is bigger than -2. If you follow, they always interrupt me. I always wait for it, and I think it's not coming. if you follow these steps, you'll have just as much success. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.